Welcome to the lesson that will get you started with using the Goblin tool, which is amazing if you want to clean up your emails before you send them. So you're going to go ahead and read these directions, and then what you're going to do is you're going to come down and look at these possible scenarios. You will be writing an email that breaks as many email rules as possible. But what's going to happen is you're going to copy and paste that into the Goblin tool, and they're going to give you some great information. This will help you before you send off a really bad email. You always want to have good email etiquette, and this lesson should help you achieve that goal. So if you don't know about the email etiquette rules, I highly recommend you watch this video, and as you're watching the video, think of ways that you can break rules. For example, all uppercase is a big no-no. Having spelling and grammar errors is a big no-no. Being rude in your email is not a good thing as well. So what you're going to do is to look at the possible scenarios. You could write it to a boss, parent, friend, or other. Make sure that you do not add any personal names. You want to protect yourself and the person because the teacher might share this with the class. So the scenario could be a boss that treats you poorly, your parent doesn't give you enough attention, you feel like a teacher gives way too much work, a friend ignores you at school, you have to do more work because your coworker doesn't help much because they're always on their phone. You don't have to use these possible scenarios. You can come up with your own, but these are just some general ideas. So I'll be back after I write an email. I went ahead and wrote an email to my hypothetical boss. Dear boss, I just love how you always give attention to mediocre workers and you ignore the ones who work really hard. I'm so excited to have you as my boss because you never acknowledge my hard work. I notice that you're always going to lunch with some of my coworkers, but you never invite me. I really appreciate feeling left out. I also notice you give raises to lazy workers. I have been working here for 10 years and you have never given me a raise. I often work very late and you don't even thank me. If you don't treat me better, I will leave this crappy place and go where I am appreciated. In this email, I broke quite a few rules. I have spelling and grammar errors. I'm rude. I have sarcasm. I have uppercase, which is like yelling. So I'm going to go ahead and see what the Goblin tool says. So I'm going to select my email. I will right-click and choose Copy. I will scroll up and go to the Goblin website. Now, if this is not available for you as a student, your teacher can model this in class. The teacher just needs a way of getting access to your work. Maybe you can share your document with them. That's one way to get the work to your teacher. So what you're going to do is choose the Judge option. You will right-click in this area and choose Paste, and then Judge. Then you're going to come down below and you're going to select all the text, right-click and copy it, go back to the document. You'll scroll down under Goblins Judgment and right-click and choose Paste. Now, what we're going to do is I would encourage you to read that because it's going to give you some insightful information about what Goblin thinks of your email. So I'll go ahead and read it. The text comes across as frustrated, resentful, and unappreciated. The writer seems to be expressing their disappointment and feelings of being neglected by their boss. They feel undervalued despite their hard work and dedication to the job. The tone of the message is filled with sarcasm and a hint of threat towards leaving if the situation does not improve. It is clear that the writer is seeking recognition and acknowledgement for their efforts, which they feel have been overlooked in favor of other employees. So that's a really good description of my email, and it's exactly how I felt. So I'm going to go back up and I'm going to select the email again. I will right-click and choose Copy. I will go back to the Goblin tool. I will choose Formalizer. I will then right-click in this area and choose Paste. And now I can make my text more professional or more polite. I'm not going to use any of the other ones. I'm just going to either choose more professional or more polite. So you can do more professional, and then once it generates the more professional email, you can read that email to determine if that's the one you want to copy and send. So after reading it, let's say you want to choose more polite and then choose Convert again. You need to decide if you want it to be more professional or more polite. Both options are pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the more polite option. I'm going to select all of this. I will copy this, right-click and choose Copy. I will go back. I will then go to the Goblins Professional Email Revision, and I will right-click and choose Paste. I always encourage students to read it again, make sure there's no errors. If there's words you're not comfortable with, then change them. But once the email is perfect, you would then copy this into your email and send that to the recipient. This concludes the session on how to complete the student practice for the Goblin tool. Until next time, you have a wonderful day.